Good morning, party people. So today we're going to run through a little vintage DIY hack for your t-shirts. So I get asked a lot about where I get my vintage t-shirts from, and most of mine are vintage, but as vintage scoring can be hard and expensive, today I'm going to run through some little tips and tricks so you can kind of create that custom looking vintage band tee feel. So the great thing is bands like Metallica, Led Zeppelin, all these, they license out their designs and you can get them quite cheap from different stores. I got a bunch earlier on today from Cotton On, so I got this awesome Elton John one, and then I got another Metallica one right here. So both brand new t-shirts with that vintage print on them. So we're going to show you how you can kind of create your own vintage looking t-shirts. So you can probably see on those two, they are different washes. This has a little bit of washed out feel to it. So we might start on this one. I'm going to show you how to create more of a tie-dye effect. So the beauty of this design is it actually already has a really great design to play with. So what we're going to do here is pinch the middle. You know what, before we do that, I should explain the things you're going to need. You're going to need a bucket. You're going to need some water. You're going to need basic bleach. I've got lemon bleach here. There's no name brand. I've got rubber bands and a plastic bag. So now we can get into our little tie-dye effect. The first thing I'm going to do is find the spot that you want to kind of create the tie-dye effect in. For me, I want to have this part staying relatively dark. So I'm going to go through and pinch this up, squeeze it around. So anything that's in my hand on top here is going to stay dark, and then the rest of it should bleach out a little bit. So I'm trying to keep as much of that Metallica logo as possible, and then right down to that circle. That's what I want there. I'm going to put one rubber band on the bottom here, like so. And this is giving me my little base just to keep that part separate. One more. Really glad that motorbike's deciding to start up right now. So that's step number one. So as you can see there, all the part of the shirt that doesn't have the print right now is just out, and all the print is in that spot there. Now I get my plastic bag. Now this is the important part. What I do is put my plastic bag on, and I'm actually going to tie it around the base here as tight as possible. Get my rubber bands again, and I tie that over the top here. Now what this is doing is obviously giving it it's definitely not waterproof, but it's sort of a seal, so that the bleach doesn't get on this part of the shirt as much. I don't mind if it gets it a little bit. I think that's kind of the beauty of doing DIY stuff. As you can see in this one I did earlier, I have a few little black spots here where bleach has come through. I'm fine with that. It does give them a more authentic look. You never see those perfectly faded t-shirts because, let's face it, they just fall apart. Alright, that is step number one. I might even go through and flat this bit out here. Another rubber band around there, just to keep it nice and tight. Cool. So that's first bit done. Now, the secret to bleach is less is more. You don't want to go over the top, because if you put too much bleach in, you're actually going to deteriorate the material, particularly if it's just like a cotton blend. They fall apart really easily. So we're going to put in an even amount of bleach. I've put in 3 liters of water, and I'm going to put a dash of bleach, just a dash. So I've probably put in maybe 200 mils there. Swirl around. Now I would recommend wearing gloves for this, but I didn't bring gloves, so what can you do? I never used this ice cream scoop, so I'm going to use this one. So what we're going to do next is keeping this plastic bit out of the water, stir this up a little bit more, and we're just going to put the t-shirt fabric into the water. So you can see here, it's already starting to soak up a little bit into that plastic bit. That's fine, I'm not worried about that. The important part here is actually getting the rest of it covered up. Now, with black t-shirts, quite a lot of the time, it's actually more of an orangey underlay to the material, so the black has a red dye to it. That's why this one here, it's got that really nice pastel orange color, but you can see around here that there's like a darker orange and then it fades to black right in the middle. So that's kind of what we're going to go for here, but I'm going to try not to fade it as much. Oh yeah, I would recommend wearing clothes you don't mind if they get bleach on them. I've worn an old pair of cutoffs and a t-shirt I've already bleached, and I don't really care if this one gets more bleached. As I said, I like that look, but don't wear any nice clothing because you will ruin it. And around now. Trish, I don't know if you can see that. You can see the water here is actually gone a slightly discolored color. It's slightly discolored is what I want to say there. So that's already the color pigment coming out there. It's going to fade it away slightly. I'm done with this t-shirt. That's it for now. So, I'm going to hang it up, squeeze it out a little bit, and I'm going to go hang this up to drain out a little bit, let the bleach drain through the t-shirt before I wash it. As I said, you're best off putting less on and always coming back to bleach it more rather than overdoing it and ruining the t-shirt straight away. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to go and hang this one up while I tack number 2. Okay, t-shirt number 2, now we're going on to Elton. So, by the way, saw Elton John the other week in concert and it was so damn good. What a rock and roller. So this t-shirt here, as I said, it's a much darker t-shirt. It looks like a brand new tee. I don't love that personally. So what we're gonna do here is I'm actually gonna add a little bit more bleach to the mix. Same mix up we've just had there. So I'm gonna put in an extra little dash. That's probably gonna put it up towards closer to 600, 700 mils of bleach versus 3 liters of water. Mix it in a little bit. And for this one, I'm gonna really dip it in and let it bleach halfway up. So this is what we call a dip dye effect. This isn't for everyone. I've never even tried this, but I figured, why not try it? These t-shirts cost me like, I think $15 a pop. So if it's really, really ruined, I can go get another one. But I think that's kind of the beauty of DIY. It's having a go, playing with it, seeing what you can create. Some of my, okay, that's a great example right there. I'll show you that right. See how I've been pushing that in, but the front bit hasn't actually got any bleach on it. So that's why we're now gonna roll it over the other way and put that back in and go over it. Yeah, I think some of the best DIY stuff is the stuff you screw up. I had a pair of jeans a few years ago, and I think I've said this in a video before, but I had a pair of jeans I was trying to cut up years ago, and I ripped them what I thought was way too much. And I was like, oh man, I love those jeans, they were so good, and now they're like really ripped. And as soon as I put them through the wash and they came out, I realized that if anything, I'd made them 10 times better. They were so cool, so really, really well ripped. I'm not talking myself up there, it's just how they turned out. That they became my favorite pair of shorts, jeans, whatever they were. So now you can see here, I'm being fairly haphazard. I'm not worried about how it's going in, coming out. You can see on that side there, there's like this patch up here which has come out and splashed up a little on top. I'm fine with that. That's cool. Now next thing I'm gonna do, slide here, stay Elton. He's just not listening. I'm actually just gonna put bits and pieces up the top. That's where my scoops come in handy. So this isn't going to do a huge amount. It's just going to have some like splatter effect to it, which I think could be kind of fun. Do the same on this side. That was way more than I meant to do. Now quite a lot of modern t-shirts already have a pre-washed effect on them, which this one does too, so you can see the way the bleach and water is just beating off there. Happy with that. This one sleeve done. Great. I'm going to hang this up with the other one now. We'll leave it for maybe an hour or so to dry out, let the bleach sink in, and then we'll chuck them in the wash. So I'll come back to you guys in about an hour. Good morning, we're back again. So it's been overnight. It's been overnight, what does that even mean? The shirts are now dry. So you can see here where you can see that like bleaching splatter has come through on this one. It's lightened up ever so slightly along the bottom, which is cool. So it has a bit more of that like vintage black feel there. You can really see the difference when you actually turn it on the inside there where the bleach has come through though, which is really cool. And this one has turned out awesome. It's gone into like a really rusted brown color. So I think that's gonna be really great. I'm gonna go through and show you how to turn this one here into a bit more of a cutoff. And I'm gonna play with this one and give it some like bleached edges, a bit of a splatter, play off that print in the middle. So we'll go inside and start on those. Okay, so I've left the bleach in yesterday's container and I just added a little bit extra in here. So we're probably at a high percentage of bleach now. What I'm gonna do is, like I did with the Elton John t-shirt, I'm gonna dip dye this a little bit. I'm gonna give the sleeves a bit of a dip, see how that turns out. And then the bottom here, then I'm also gonna give it a bit of a splatter to give it a bit more of a unique effect, and as I said, kind of play off the oranges here. So I know that the undertone of this is a reddy undertone, so it should turn out quite cool. So let's do it. So what I'm doing here is I'm dipping, then I'm putting it upside down and squeezing, so you can see how the bleach is like creating that line across it. So I'm just going to do that to that part. Do that to the other side too. Now this sleeve. So you can see that's already starting to actually change the color in and around that. So I'm now going to flip it upside down, do the same to the bottom bit. Is I'm actually going to lay it down the ground here and just get my fingertips, get them wet and flick the water across it to kind of give it that extra little bleached effect. That's it, we're done. That's it for the bleaching. So I'm going to hang this guy back up in the sun for a little bit. As you can see here along the top, it really has started to discolor a bit around that top part. So the sleeves are also doing the same. So I have to leave that in the sun for a little bit to dry out, let the bleach sink in, then I can get to washing it again. Cool, okay, so we've got one t-shirt outside drying right now. We're gonna talk about distressing right here. So I have got a video on this. I've done it before. If you check out up there, you can check that video out. It was more on how to cut up your band tees. So we're gonna go through and do that now. As I said, we've got this Elton John t-shirt. I got this in a large, which is pretty fitting on me right now. So we're gonna cut the sleeves off. I'm gonna go for a capped sleeve look here. So what that means is, rather than having a drop hole arm, I'm gonna go right to the seam, very similar to the one I've actually got on here. So what we're gonna do is lay our t-shirt out nice and flat, and we do this arm by arm. A lot of people fold their t-shirts in half and cut them. Don't do that. You're not very good at folding. You're gonna screw it up. So laid it here. I'm feeling where the seam is, so I can feel that seam running right along there under the fingers. And I go in maybe 1 centimeter and just track along the sleeve. Now I am gonna go slightly lower than the sleeve because my shoulders make the underarm sit a bit tighter, but again, it's personal, you do you, but start small, you can always go further. So that's one sleeve done. Again, finding that seam, going about 1 centimeter in, cutting, and we're gonna follow down the arm. Now you can see that I was actually pulling tension on the shirt, and that way, I don't know if you can, Trish, do you wanna come and look down on that one for me? You can see that it's an even, smooth cut. You're not gonna get any of those big jagged bits. The way you can also get rid of them though is just by rolling it in your fingers, or when you chuck it in the wash, it'll self-roll in on itself. Because it is a raw edge, it sort of wants to look after itself. So that little roll there, and it means that it sits nice and neat. So that's my sleeves done, cut, dropped. I like the way it's looking. I'm going to give it a few little puncture marks. So this is a look that you'll find on a lot of vintage t-shirts, that they look more vintage because they have these little holes all over them. I use a fork for that. Super easy. I find a spot, I pull the tension, and I push. And that's just put 4 little holes right on the bottom there. Now again, don't go too crazy with this because you'll end up just putting holes all through your shirt. I'd say start small, you can always build them up, but that is literally all I'm doing in that spot. So I'm gonna go through and find a few spots all over the shirt, do that, and then we'll try it on, see how it looks. Great, that's it. So I'm going to run my hands around the sleeves area once more, just to get any of that excess fabric off. Now, with washing these, I don't worry about washing them in a particular way. I just wash them with my other blacks. I'll let the color fade out of them and let them just do their thing over the time. So let's try it on. Okay, so as you can see there, it's a little gapey here right now because I've been pulling and stretching it out. As you wear it, that'll soften up, but that has turned out really well. It's got that washed, faded black look to it. There's these little bleach marks on it that could be like hanging in time. The holes will get a little bigger the more I wear it as well, but all in all, I'm really happy with that. Plus, it's Elton, the Rocket Man. You can't beat it. Alright, we'll have one last look at this shirt before I chuck it in the wash. But there we go. You can really see there the bleach is kicking in. There's got that splattered effect all over it, where I've dipped in along the collar here, around the sleeves, and down the bottom. It's getting that like faded orangey look, which is really cool. That has turned out awesome. So it's like a unique, one-of-a-kind type fit. See in the back there, just like the bleach marks splattered all over the back. I'm very happy with this one. I'm gonna leave that to dry, but that's it. We're done for now, guys. If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You want to see any more DIY hacks with your clothing? Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.